Hello, 13212 here, and what you're looking at right here is my entire collection of Mrs. Brown's Boys DVDs. Well, let me give a little bit of an explanation about who Mrs. Brown's is to people who don't know, because I always have to do that, don't I? Okay, so Mrs. Brown is basically a character created by Irish comedian Brendan O'Carroll, who basically yeah he was born in Finglas, and he basically I actually don't know much about what he did, actually, to be honest, apart from Mrs. Brown. I know he wrote some books and he wrote some stage plays as well. I know that. And I know that he's fairly popular in Ireland anyway. Some of England as well, since like his show of Mrs. Brown's Boys did air on the BBC, so yeah. But basically he played this character called Mrs. Brown, who basically is a base he basically plays a woman. But it's unlike it's not quite like Medea, because at least I kind of enjoy Mrs. Brown's Boys quite a lot, actually. But anyway, here's all the Mrs. Brown's Boys DVDs that I have that exist. I think apart from some Christmas specials, because they seem to release those every year, and they always make Christmas box sets every year that will always be obsolete by next year. I swear Universal seems to love to do that, don't they? This is basically apart from a few Christmas specials that are missing for understandable reasons, as you will. You can understand why I don't want to get them yet, because I want to wait till the whole series is finished. But apart from a few Christmas specials, this includes absolutely everything that Mrs. Brown's has to offer. Except I don't have Agnes Brown. I don't have the movie Agnes Brown, but I don't really count that as part of this series, since I don't think Brendan O'Carroll doesn't actually play anyone in that, but I think it's adapted from one of his works anyway. So anyway, let's not waste more time and actually get right on with the show. Starting off with the mother of all box sets, Mrs. Brown's Boys and Brendan O'Carroll. This isn't actually part of the Mrs. Brown's Boys series over there. That's up next, but this is basically those are basically adaptations of stage plays that Brendan O'Carroll made of Mrs. Brown's Boys, and they're basically direct-to-video feature-length movies, pretty much. And this includes 7 movies, a outtakes DVD, and 4 Brendan O'Carroll stand-up shows. As you can see right here, we have 12 DVDs basically, rated 18. This is interesting. This is the only Mrs. Brown's thing I own that's Region Zero, which is kind of interesting and cool because, just check it out, the packaging. Comes in this nice little it opens up and it's in this nice little really big thing. It's so big I can't even fit into the frame properly. So big, see? This was really cheap when I got it, by the way. As you can see, this has Mrs. Brown's Boys 1 through 7, the bloopers, and the 4 Brendan O'Carroll stand-up comedies, stand-up shows. I can't even say things correctly. What's wrong with me? Anyway, yeah, that's a lot of content for your money. I paid €5 for this in CEX, and I'd say it's probably worth it. I haven't actually seen much of the content on this DVD, but I think I've seen a little bit of the one of the movies before I bought it, because I wasn't unsure. I was kind of not sure if I wanted to get this, but I think it was worth it. I mean, €5. It's not. If I don't like it, I can it's not gonna be a big loss, and it's 12 discs as well, so it's pretty good value. If I must say. €5 for 12 discs. That's amazing. I kind of like the packaging as well. Yeah. The only problem with the packaging though is that it doesn't actually say the runtime anywhere on the box or anywhere on the discs. So I had to do painstaking things that I had to add up every single one manually. Words cannot describe how painful that is. But other than that, this is a great set. And now we move on to the actual show itself with Mrs. Brown's Boys really big box. This is actually a reissue of one of the Mrs. Brown's Boys series, because they used to have a set called well, I don't know why I say used to, it still exists, doesn't it? They had a box set called Mrs. Brown's Boys Big Box, I think. You know, it only had seasons 1, 2, and 3, and one disc of the Christmas specials, because that was like released very early in the series, wasn't it? So anyway, yeah, this has seasons 1 to 3, 11 Christmas specials, and the live episode, which was basically an episode. It was just like an episode of the show, but it was just not edited. It was live. It was pretty cool. Anyway, this is actually where the series. I think this was actually the series that actually started to grow strong with Mrs. Brown. Actually, I think, in my opinion, anyway. Comes with this nice little thick box, rated 15 this time, as well as all the other Mrs. Brown's Boys things here, which is yeah. Yeah. So there's so yeah, we have like a bunch. There's like a lot of content on this. There's it says approximately, it says almost 17 hours, and yeah, it's full of content basically. This is season 1, season 2, season 3, the Christmas crackers. Hang on. More Christmas crackers, Mammy's Tickle Pink and Mammy's Gamble, Christmas Punch and Widow Memories, and Christmas Streets, and the live episode right here. Obviously, because this set came out in 2017, so this set is a little bit dated in terms of the content that's on here. Of course, there's going to be more episodes now, well, more Christmas episodes, because they always seem to make a lot of them. But this is a really good set. It's full of content. It's yeah, it's full of content. It's really funny. I'd say it was an alright value. I think we bought this like when it was near new. I think the price may have dropped down a bit, but it's a really good it's actually a really good show. It's a cult classic in my eyes, anyway. Now here's Mrs. Brown's Boys the movie. Of course, because the series was like really successful, it got a movie. And of course, actually, I should have explained this earlier. The Mrs. Brown's Boys show itself wasn't that big budget, because most of the locations were either the house or the bar. But right here it's actually right here is actually, because it's a bigger budget, they can go anywhere at all, really, and that's what they did pretty much. Interestingly, this is the first Mrs. Brown's Boys thing I've actually ever seen, so it's an interesting start. I go from this to actually watching and then I watched the series right away. No, not right away. I mean, like, I didn't watch the series until 2015, I think. Or was it like near the end of 2014? I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, Mrs. Brown's Boys, the movie. This was I remember getting this for Christmas in 2014, and the movie. What I think of the movie? It's alright. I thought it was pretty funny. It's probably I wouldn't say it's my favorite comedy. But I definitely say it's a runner-up anyway. We have a leaflet of different Mrs. Brown's Boys things to get. Yeah, we have a leaflet of DVDs, and on the back we have the movie, which we have, and the CD, and the book of Mrs. Brown's Boys books, which actually I might show at the end of this video. Actually, now I see that. Anyway, this is Mrs. Brown's Boys the movie. The characters were pretty funny in it, and yeah, it was pretty funny, and I liked how the fourth wall breaks. Well, I haven't actually seen the movie in quite a while, actually, so I should probably get to it again sometime. Anyway, next up we have Mrs. Brown's Boys Live. The complete collection includes all 4 live shows, 2 root for TV, or just Mrs. Brown's Boys Live, the complete collection. Yeah, this is a DVD setup. This is actually a DVD set I've wanted for quite some time, and I'm actually happy I do, because it's I finally own all the live shows. Normally I wouldn't buy live shows like this, but you know what? It's Mrs. Brown, and I'm gonna make an exception here. So yeah, we have 4 live shows right here on 4 discs. It's just English. Let's just take the DVDs right out. We have Mrs. Brown's Boys Live, Good Morning Mrs. Brown, and Mrs. Brown Rides Again. In this case, is a 2-disc set. as you can see. Mrs. Brown's Boys Live, For the Love of Mrs. Brown. Yeah. And How Now Mrs. Brown Cow. Yeah. All the DVDs have some kind of extra on them, which is good. And just oddly, I always wondered why they used interestingly, I love how they just use the Mrs. Brown from the old direct to DVD covers for the photos here. And then this one's the 7-year it. Hang on, yeah, this one's that one, except this one just has a photoshopped head of one of the newer photos of Mrs. Brown. Interestingly, I don't know why they did that, but it kind of makes me laugh. Yeah, this is 4 discs, and as you can imagine, this set doesn't actually, in terms of packaging, is not exactly the best packaging in the world. I mean, like, there's 4 discs. That's all well and good, but why is it so thick? Like, it's 3 discs. It's 3 DVD cases long, and it easily could just be one. Like, why is it 3 cases? And in this time and age, it shouldn't be like this. It just takes up too much space. Like, I have a DVD. Here's an example of a DVD case with 4 discs. That's just simply one DVD case. Why can't they package it like this? Now see, every disc is like right here, and it is not super thick or anything. Yeah, I don't know why they can't do that. Well, we know there's a Mrs. Brown's Boys, the musical that's available, that's coming out soon where we live. Hopefully, if that ever comes out on DVD, and if they ever reissue the live shows with that, hopefully it comes with slimmer packaging as well, because that would make me that would be good. You know, I'd totally buy that, even though I have this. Anyway, now on to All Round to Mrs. Brown's. This is the I was gonna say the game show. This is not it's not really. It's technically not a game show. It does have game show elements though. It's more of a talk comedy type show. It's an entertainment show. That's it. I'm so stupid. Yeah, here we go. We have this is a entertainment show starring Mrs. Brown and the family. And yeah, it's a yeah, basically there are also celebrities on here as well. We have Pamela Anderson, Louis Walsh, all different kinds of peeps. Sure, I'm not gonna understand most of them, but you know what? I'm just gonna enjoy it anyway. I like Mrs. Brown. I like the. This is a pretty good show. I haven't seen too much of it either. I have seen like 2 or 3 episodes. I mean, this is a pretty long. This show does have some pretty long episodes. The episodes are like an hour long. Normally, I would object to that kind of thing, but you know what? I think if it's funny, if it's a funny show, I could probably pass the time with it. So yeah, you have 2 discs right here. Yeah, that's Mrs. Brown, All Round to Mrs. Brown's. All different screenshots. Yeah, it's we focus there. It's 4 hours and 53 minutes. So it's just about 5 hours basically. And finally, in this pile, we have All Round to Mrs. Brown Season 2 or Series 2, depending on who you want to read from. This is themed in a blue color. Then this is themed obviously in a pinkish color, magenta, whatever. Yeah, we have more celebrities. This also has 6 episodes, just like the first season. Yeah, we have yeah, this is another one. We have people like Boy George and Jerry Springer, and some people might know and some people might not. Basically, that's the best way I can describe it, I guess. This also comes in a nice slipcover. Let's open this one up. Yeah, this is a nice little set as well. I don't really have much to comment on this. It's another good helping of All Round to Mrs. Brown's, and it's some pretty good. It's a pretty good time passer for people that enjoy comedy and stuff and entertainment. Yeah, it's a lot of fun basically. And this is my entire Mrs. Brown's Boys DVD collection that happens as of today anyway, excluding some Christmas specials, of course. And All Round to Mrs. Brown Season 3 is gonna come out in December, and that's gonna have a green color on it. So yeah, jump cut. And as a little bonus, we have 2 little books here. This isn't part of the DVD collection. I just want to show them off as well, just as a little bonus treat. Anyway, here we go. Here, this is a really heavy book of all of Mrs. Brown's A to Y of everything, because apparently, according to her, nothing begins with Z. This is basically a little glossary of different terms that There's basically a term of yeah. This basically has a bunch. This is all full of pictures about stuff. Yeah. This is a pretty cool book. I always read it a lot. I think we spent too much on it probably, because I think we got yeah, this is a pretty cool book. I always read like quite a lot. It's yeah, it's a pretty heavy book as well, but it does pass the time pretty well, I'd say. And finally, we have Mrs. Brown's Family Handbook. This is basically a handbook, or it's basically a book you use to for you know, to learn how to be a good family, I guess. I don't know, but this is a pretty funny book as well. It does have a bunch of color. It does have, this interestingly has a bunch of color. It does have a bunch of color photos as well, which is pretty neat. I really like that. It reminds me of how we have It reminds me of how we have like movie photos, and they also there's like several color photos in this book. When I'm exhausted after a long day's tea drinking, I'm actually left with a nice cup of tea. Yeah, this is yeah, these are just all the yeah, this is the books right here. So yeah, this is the entire collection of Mrs. Brown's things that I own in this house anyway. So yeah, this is World Jake 2012 signing out.